Hello everybody, I am your host and host Raksha with another video. So we were discussing what are the major common mistakes or blunders we as a students make and how do we avoid them. So this particular video is gonna be a bit long, but I am pretty sure you're gonna get good insights if you're gonna watch this. So today we are gonna discuss about the second most important or the major blunder we as students make is not understanding the concepts better. So everybody says that we need to understand the concepts better. रट्टा मार के कोई फ़ायदा नहीं है यार, ऐसे करना वैसे करना. I mean, there's a hell a lot of chaos around this particular understanding of the concepts topic. But as a student, I also feel that nobody guides us in the right way. So what exactly can we do to address this particular problem of understanding the concepts better? So let's get started. How do we address this particular problem of not understanding the concepts? So I do have a few tips for you, so you have to stay connected with me. The first one which I have for you is start with the basics. Make sure you have the solid understanding of the fundamental concepts before moving on to the advanced topics. So I get what we study in CA final is a major chunk of what we have studied or written for a CA inter, but the gap between CA inter and CA final with the training of 3 years in between, I mean, it's a very long journey that we tend to forget what our basics were. So whenever you get time or whenever you start a subject of CA final, make sure that whatever you've studied in CA Inter, just a little, take out your notes just to see what the subjects were, what were the topics, what were the things which you thought were important in your CA Inter. Try to revisit those concepts so that you have a better understanding of the lectures or the concepts which you will be grasping for CA Final. The next one which I have for you is breaking it down. So by breaking it down, again, CA final is very voluminous. Breaking it down will only make it easier for you to complete the entire vast syllabus. Break down the syllabus as much as possible into smaller chunks so that you don't have the stress of completing. अरे यार 100 पेजेस का चैप्टर, अरे यार 200 पेजेस का चैप्टर कैसे करूँगी. इतना स्ट्रेस नहीं चाहिए यार लाइफ में. थोड़ा ब्रेक डाउन करो, टॉपिक वाइज करो, हो जाएगा. The next tip is using analogies. By using analogies, I mean most of the concepts, if you see, you'll be able to relate to your CA articleship experience. So whenever you get a topic which kind of relates to you, see, for me, when I am saying about experience, I have experience in transfer pricing, I do have experience in a mid-sized firm. So whenever I read something, I try to relate to it. अच्छा ऐसे किया था मेरे क्लाइंट के लिए, अच्छा ये मैंने किया हुआ है, ये थोड़ा रिलेटेबल है, अभी समझ में आ रहा है मैंने ये क्यों क्या करके. तब समझ में नहीं आ रहा था जब मैं कर रही थी, but after studying for CA final, after listening to the lectures, there is a better clarity. So relate to your real life experiences. So, but for this, I have a pro tip for you is talk to your friends of what they are doing, how they are doing, what are the cases they are handling. Try to get an insight and a perspective of things they handle so that the learning you have is broader. So that's a pro tip. Make use of it. Next thing is ask questions. I mean, I don't get why people are afraid of asking questions. अरे यार questions पूछो, पैसे थोड़े लगते हैं. I do get more often than not, we don't get good seniors or cool seniors, but I mean, if you don't ask the questions, nobody is gonna answer it. So let it be. Your senior might not address it once or twice, but if you keep asking it, at one point he will address it, he or she will address it. So ask any kind of questions. It might be stupid or basic to you, but it might be something which will help you learn a lot from that question. So make sure you ask questions to your friends, your colleagues, your seniors. I mean, don't miss out a moment of asking questions. I mean, the life is too short for not asking questions or getting clarity of what you have doubt for. So just bindas रह के questions पूछो, कोई कुछ नहीं सोचने वाला. Next thing is visualize it. So more often than not, if the topic is too big, try to make it into steps or try to make it a chart or a flow so that you convince yourself that the topic is very easy. And nowadays the professors or the teachers which we have these days, they try to simplify the concepts as much as possible so that you gain the most out of it. So I think you can use the methods which the professors are giving to us, chart method, flow chart method, chart methods, simplifying the sentences, and just understanding the crisp of it will help you to retain the stuff better. The next tip I have for you is practice, practice, practice. I mean, how much ever we have clarity on the subject, if you don't go back to the subject or the topic again and practice it, I mean, you will tend to forget it. I mean, it's basic human tendency to forget the stuff which we don't practice. So try to make time for yourself, for that subject, for that chapter, so that you go revisit, you try to regain a perspective of what you have understood, and try to complete the subject or the chapter as much as time possible, so that you can retain better. The next tip I have for you is using different resources. So more often than not, people tend not to stick to multiple books, but my suggestion is, if you're in your first year of articleship, this I haven't done for myself, but I think people who are just in your first year, or just started with your first year of articleship, can try to involve in a subject which they like. Like, let's say if you like DT as a subject, study material is there of course, but you can use resources of different authors, of different publishers like Taxman, Taxsutra, and read what kind of logic or learning they are bringing out of a topic and what kind of perspective they have. That will bring a wider perspective of how things work on a larger scale. So use different resources, and of course read a lot, which I don't do. I will do moving forward, but I think you should implement this too. Find a study group. So finding a study group will of course help you collate, understand, will help you collaborate with others, and will also help you to retain the concepts better. But for me personally, study group doesn't really work, because I tend to chit chat with them for a long time and it just goes for a toss. But if study group works for you, I mean, you should go ahead and try to solve all your doubts as much as possible. And then take breaks. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or frustrated because the topic is too big, because you don't understand it, because how much ever time I go read that particular paragraph, I don't really understand what it is trying to convey. In that circumstance, breathe in, breathe out, take a break. Just breathe in, breathe out, take a break again, and understand that things are difficult for you. It might be difficult for others too. You're not alone in this journey. So try to go back to that particular topic once you are convinced, relaxed, and try to read with a better understanding, so that it is easier for you to complete that particular topic. Next is teach someone else. So in CA final particularly, if you see, we don't have a lot of time to invest in others, or at least when we say to teach someone else, it is of course a very indeed hectic task. But if you do get a time, or if you have a very good friend, teaching someone can of course help you retain the concept better. Otherwise, one suggestion would be to teach yourself. By teaching yourself, I mean record yourself voice notes, and you can always go back to that particular voice note and listen to it whenever you can, while you travel, while you're just having a breakfast, and it will try to retain the concept better. Now using flashcards, making your own summary notes will help you understand the concepts better instead of using someone else's notes. This I personally implement for myself, because how much ever a professor or a teacher gives you summary notes, unless and until you summarize it for yourself, but like what is important, what is not important in a chronological order, I don't think you'll be able to tackle this vast syllabus. So make sure you have your own notes in your own handwriting. Kindly don't borrow people's notes, because it's of no use for you. So again, make your notes if you have time. Look for patterns. Now look for patterns in the concepts and how it relates to other topics you have learned. So more often than not, if you see, the concepts which we learn are linked, more often linked. I mean, if you study chapter 1, there will be a reference in chapter 12, and you can always go back to chapter 6, which will have reference of chapter 12. So always try to link the subjects. I mean, within the subject you can also relate, and also outside the subject with other subjects you can relate the concepts better. So once you do like this, you can also save time. Okay, ये वाला concept हो गया, मैं वापस वो वाला subject में भी ये topic कर लेता हूँ, मेरा topic खत्म हो जाएगा, and that's how you save time and revise things better and faster. Next is getting feedback. So I know everybody tells get feedback from your teacher, tutor, of how you understand and all of that. Write test series, try to evaluate yourself, do MCQ test for yourself. I think Once you start evaluating yourself, you will tend to see what are your plus and your minus, and you have to focus on your improvement areas. Next is staying positive. Don't get discouraged if you don't understand something. I mean, it's very natural not to understand everything. We all are not some genius or some Einstein that will get everything right in the very first moment. So have patience, have dedications. It will come to you at the right time, but you need to have patience for that. Keep a very positive attitude and keep trying. And the very last tip which I have for you is celebrate your progress. When you do start to understand the concept, celebrate your progress. Use it as a motivation to keep the learning. I mean, we always tend to forget that we do a lot in a day, but we don't appreciate for what we have done in the day. Rather we criticize कि ये नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ, ये कर सकती थी, वो कर सकती थी, यार इतना टाइम वेस्ट हो गया. अरे यार बस करो, थोड़ा खुद को अप्रिशिएट भी कर लो. जिंदगी छोटी है, जी लो ज़रा. Treat something for yourself, watch a K-drama, watch a movie. By watching movies, series, go out for an ice cream treat, go out for a walk. I mean, dance, sing, do whatever you like and reward yourself and keep yourself happy. So that's it from my end. To summarize a particular video of how do we get a better understanding of the concepts. Just start with the basics, get your fundamental rights, break it down, use analogies, use your experiences to relate to the concept, practice, use different resources if you have time. Celebrate your progress, find a study group, get a feedback, use your techniques which works for you, teach someone else, take breaks, get feedback, look for patterns, relate concepts, link concepts to different subjects or the same subjects, and I think you will ace it. You will be able to be the master of the subject if you put your heart and soul to it. And that's it from my end. If you have liked the video, do let me know, or if you have any other doubts or concerns, you can always reach out to me on my YouTube or Instagram handle, and I will definitely take time to get back to you. So this is your host and host Raksha signing off. See you in the next video. Bye.